Hello and welcome to another very cold and wet February morning. The Beetle is under recover still. I think today we need to do a little bit of work on the Russian truck because it has a couple of problems from last year into this year. It's about time to recommission it because it's hibernated for the winter. And I've got a couple of things to catch up with. An air tank needs a little bit of a repair, so I think I'm going to do that today, because if it does rain today, at least I'll be underneath and I won't get my little self wet. We'll get the cover off, at least we can look at this. Might start it up later. It does sound loads better with the new exhaust. Look at those. Doesn't that look lovely? It does sound loads better. Did a little bit of tuning last time. It sounds nice, so we'll get a little bit of footage of that running. Let's get a bit of this played with today. Let's go underneath. Those stones look pretty hard, so I think we'll get that under first. Onto the mat. Right. Let's have a little look under here. What do we have? So, today's issue is this air tank, which has a problem around that collar where that bolt is. It's got a bit of a leak. So I reckon we'll get that off, undo it, take the lines off. Doesn't look too hard, to be honest. Only one hard line into it, two hard lines into it. Easy get to. Beauty about Russian equipment is it's all metric sizes. Absolute bliss. Nothing ever seizes up really either, because it's so big and chunky. You can get big spanners on and you're able to get them off. Saying that, watch that. I'll have my Volkswagen incident where I snapped studs off today. Watch that, you know what I mean. But this air tank isn't for the brakes, if anybody was wondering. This is only an air tank for the central tyre inflation, because these things, you can blow them up and deflate them on the move, which is really handy for soft sand and snow. The brakes are actually hydraulic over vacuum packs, which is a vacuum unit front and rear for this, one for each axle. And today I would like to grease the prop shaft as well and do the UJs, because they haven't been done this year or last year even. Right, let's get on with it. There we are, 22mm that is. Like, look at that, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Will they all come that good? We'll see that one. Get into this one. Get into there. Yes! Oh, nice. Nice. No, snappy. Right, spoke too soon. Hang on. Let's get this one on. Let's try this one. Yes! The magic of big fittings. Right, that's them three. We'll wind them back, take them off. A little bit of rustiness going on there. Corrosion wise, these things don't suffer. Look at that for a body. Look at that for the main chassis member. If that was a Land Rover, it would have disintegrated and made you a coffee. And snapped all the pipes off. 10 years I've owned this thing. On the road every year since I got it. Every year. Awesome piece of kit. Now I'm going to try these little bolts. So we'll have 17mm socket on that. All that does is slacken the bands off, the tank straps, and hopefully you just loosen them enough. I think there's enough room to slide the tank back and out of its little cradle. So if if you don't hear from us, it's slipped out. It's on the head and give us a good what for. Doing this all one-handed, you see, for the benefit of viewers on YouTube. It's much easier back in the day when I had two hands. Got things done twice as quick. Stop waffling on, Scott, come on. Maybe that'll be enough. Was that enough? Oh, we're loose, we're loose. It'll come off, the little tap's in the way though. Might have to turn the little tap. Turn the little tap round. So, there was a little one hiding here at the back, which I do believe is not an 11mm. It must be 12. I think that's tank gauge feed, so tank pressure. You'll see on the dash what you got, and it takes it straight from the tank there. Well, see if it's 12. Of course it's 12. Of course it's 12. The one that I had to crawl back out and go and get, of course it's that spanner. It's always the same. I'd have to need two hands for this one. Right, just got the little fella off. Give this a wiggle. And yeah, I'll move to one side so I don't knock my teeth out. There. There we are. Look at that. There's the tank off. Ah, look at the Volkswagen. It's come for a look. Right, so yeah, let's have a little. Let's drag this out and have a little look at it. So I've took out the temporary fix tech bolt, and I've given it a whack, and it's pretty solid all the way along. It was this tiny pinhole here that was causing the issue, and I was unable to blow the tyres up. But now I'm thinking make a plate, go right across the bottom and weld that on, and hopefully it shouldn't explode and kill everyone, because the tank straps will be around and hold it captive. I better take some fittings off. Even this side, that's just a bit of gingering moisture sat on the top, because that was the top side of it. That's actually perfect. It's almost got a chrome plating on it. Oh. So in the world of non-destructive testing, I do believe this correlates to perfect. It's got a bit nice mild steel, 2.5mm. Gonna cut a piece of this to fit along there. So I've let Bob do the welding today. It's the type of friend everybody needs. The retired old fella that'll do anything you want for a meat and potato pie. And while I'm here, I'll grease the prop shop. A simple yet effective piece of engineering is this cup that sits over the UJ on the prop shaft that protects it, and like, you know, even after wading in mud and stuff, they're still really clean in there. It saves them. Why Land Rover didn't do that, I have no idea. Right, so it turns out going down the pub having 5 pints and a sausage sandwich didn't do anything for the daylight. Here's the weld. I'm going to try and get a bit of paint on this. Well, half cut. Oh, that's fine. Smells good. I think he's having a whale of a time. Привет. Look, the paint's dry. Hasn't turned out too bad, that really, for a homemade bodge job. PTFE on the fittings, cleaned those up. All the ends are nice. Cleaned the taps up. This is a drain tap, so obviously it's just it's a brass tap. Quick clean up. This tap's the airline fitting, oiled up, ready to go. So I get the tank back on, see where we're at. Righty-ho, let's get it on. I've put a bit of lanyard guard on all the fittings, get it all lubed up on the threads, make it easier for next time, because I think one day I might replace this tank with a stainless one. Oh, let's have a little look. There she goes. Yeah, that's it. In she goes. Right, now before I put the tank straps on, I think I'll get all the fittings in first, so I know where they're at, in the right places. I believe this needs to come around a bit. Turn the top side roundwise, and we'll be alright. Right, so what I love about the Soviet engineering here is, like I've said before, it's all metric. These are 22mm. It's all metric. It's, you get to the point where nothing, you know, if like I say, if this was a Land Rover, if this was an Austin, if this was another paint on this, would be a bit better. Stuff snaps, and stuff, you know, seizes up, snaps when you're working on tiny little piddly, you know, airlines. I've had modern HGVs, you know, in the 2000s, and the airlines are all corroded up, and everything, every nut you go for snaps the bolt, you know, or whatever. This, I've never really had that issue with it, because everything's really, with it being ex-military, it's all quite strong. It's all made robustly. It's made to be repaired in the field, you know, no small fittings. Everything's you can maul around with it and you get it off type of thing. I've never had anything to be that much of an issue really. One-handed business. It's good, it'll only snap off once. That on site. sight. Time for the tap. Good if your hands worked. Freezing. Freezing cold. Ice cold. However, we'll give it a cold start. See if it builds pressure. See if we've got any leaks. Let's give it a try. Oil on. Give it a little bit of choke. Give it a crank. We've got no air pressure there so far, so here we are, ready. Oh, she starts up straight away. Oh, there we are. So this is your tank pressure and this is your line pressure. So you have to have the valves open on the tyres, and then this gauge would register what is in the tyres. But when the tyre valves are closed, then this line should be completely dead, it should be empty. So that's what you want, that one down. This one builds up the main tank pressure. Nice. That's what I got a bit of a dancing battery gauge. It's just happy to see us. It's like a wagging tail of a dog. Happy dog, happy, 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 happy. Time circuits. So idling away, it's up to 6.5 bar, which is where its blow off pressure is. So it's been sitting there for a couple of minutes, so I'm happy enough for that. And now the moment of truth. We'll go back underneath after having it run, and we'll see, or hear, if there's any leaks, which I can't hear any. Wow. Wow. You hear that? The sound of silence. Ready? There should be air come out of this drain tap. Oh yes. Yes. I'll get a bit more on that. Listen to that. Wow. Well, that, for what I set out to do, I have achieved it. That is fantastic. Considering celebratory moments are few and far between, I did say we'd start this up and listen to the new exhaust that it has. So let's give it a try. Again, it's been a few weeks since this was started. Make sure it's out of gear. Anyway, here we are. Well, I'm quite pleased for how the exhaust sounds on this and the lack of air leaks sound on that. Fantastic. Well, there we are. A wet but productive day.